Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about species diversity. I'm Will, and this presentation was made by Julianne, myself, and Jordan. Species diversity is defined by the number and abundance of different species in a region. A diverse and balanced number of species helps an ecosystem thrive. Greater biodiversity means that an ecosystem can maintain more types of primary producers, decomposers, and consumers. More diverse ecosystems tend to be more productive. So for example, an ecosystem with a great variety of producers will be able to support much higher trophic levels due to all the biomass. Additionally, rich diversity is important for us as humans as well. Healthy biodiversity has many benefits like nutrient storage, recycling, soil formation, protection from erosion, and absorption of harmful gases such as CO2. Here are two communities that show a high species diversity. The first is the tropical rainforest. So tropical rainforests contain half of the world's species. There are about 5 to 10 million insect species here, and 40% of the world's flowering plant species live in the tropical regions, as well as 30% of total bird species, and the species richness is mostly due to relatively constant environmental conditions. Next we have coral reefs. So this is where colonies of tiny coral animals build large coral reefs and create an ecosystem, and because of this there is very clear water, which allows sunlight to penetrate deep and allows photosynthesis to interact with the algae and create this huge ecosystem with many niches and a huge array of biodiversity. So how do we measure diversity? Species diversity is denoted by D, and that has to do with the richness and evenness. Richness being the count of species in that community, and evenness being how equal the abundances of species are in that community. To break this down further, there's alpha diversity, which is the mean species diversity per habitat, beta diversity, which is between community diversity, and gamma diversity, which is the entire diversity within a region. Scientists use these diversity measurements for comparison purposes, recovery purposes, community summary, and community interaction. An example of comparison would be these two pictures here, where the tropical rainforest has over 700,000 species, but the tundra only has around 2,000 species. Recovery deals with the amount of diversity that relates to a disturbance or catastrophe in a given habitat and how that habitat's responding to that disturbance. Community summary and interaction deal with how many species live in a given habitat and to what extent these species interact with each other. Two common ways to measure diversity is the Shannon Diversity Index and the Simpson Diversity Index. The effective number is the number of equally abundant species needed to obtain the same average of species abundance observed in a previous dataset. A disturbance is generally any event that disrupts the function of an ecosystem. Disturbances are generally bad for ecosystems, but we can see from this graph that some level of disturbance is actually good. Even though some disturbance can be good, humans have caused too much ecological stress in our environment. If we continue to remove species diversity, eventually there will be an ecological crash. To end on a more positive note, scientists predict that there are still many species to be discovered. For example, insects still have many millions of species to be discovered. By protecting biodiversity and the environment, we can maintain the beauty and stability of our natural world.